I feel like nobody's being honest about how little power congressional Democrats actually have in this moment when it comes to the government shutdown, so I'm going to attempt to explain what's going on. So, right now in the Senate, you have 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats, right? And you need 60 votes to basically get anything done because that helps get around the filibuster. That's how you end a filibuster. But Senate Republicans can wield something called the nuclear option, and it works like this. Basically, a senator introduces a bill. Another senator filibusters. The person overseeing the Senate says, okay, well, unless you can get 60 votes, you can't get around the filibuster. The person who introduced the bill says, actually, the rule says only 51. The person overseeing the Senate says, no, it says here in the rule book it's 60. The person who introduced the bill says, why don't we put it to a vote? So they put it to a vote, and if 51 senators agree to reinterpret the number 60 as 51, it gets reinterpreted and you get around the filibuster. If this sounds too dumb to be true, I hesitate to tell you it's happened multiple times in our history, including recently, with Republicans in the Senate. So, right now, if Republicans decide to get around the filibuster using the nuclear option, they can pass whatever bills, and enact Trump's agenda as much as they want. So it's not Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and their strongly worded letters that they post to their X accounts that are standing in the way of Trump's agenda. It's people like Susan Collins and Tom Tillis and John Curtis and Lisa Murkowski and anyone who doesn't want or may not want to use the nuclear option to get things passed through Congress. In fact, right now, the only Democrats who actually have any leverage at all are people at the state level. It's governors and state attorneys general and state lawmakers in various blue states. They can fight back against the federal government. Ultimately, that goes to the courts, and we'll see how the courts rule on that and when it comes to states' rights versus what the federal government can do. But Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and Democrats in Congress don't have actual power, especially if the Republicans decide to just use the nuclear option for stuff. And if Trump can get his agenda passed with the nuclear option, then he's probably going to find a way to get it passed. He's very good at using leverage to get what he wants. And right now, Republicans are happy that the government is shut down because they can fire a bunch of federal employees and withhold money from things they don't want it to go to. So it's basically a lose-lose situation for Democrats. Keep the government closed, and Trump gets to enact some of his agenda. Open it back up, and then through the nuclear option, Trump gets to enact some of his agenda. So this is the problem with bad leadership for the Democrats at the national level, because you shouldn't find yourself in a lose-lose situation like this. It should have never gotten to this point. But it has gotten to this point, and I personally blame the party leadership for that. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments and DMs, and follow this account for easy, relatively, government explainers.